happening, everybody? How are you? It's the Tiki and Tierney Show. Let's go. Pretty good start for the local heroes. Yankees 2 out of 3, Mets 3 out of 4. As they handle business against a couple of teams who are horrendous.
Yeah, they were supposed to beat the Marlins, and they're supposed to beat the Giants. Even though they didn't beat the Giants on Saturday, which is a little concerning. We'll get to the bullpen at some point, BT, because I have some question marks. But the early going was good. They both won series, but starting with the Yankees, their 2-1 series win over the Giants. And, look, Aaron Judge, he's amazing. He's hitting .460 right now. His OPS is 1,300. He's got 2 home runs. He's Aaron Judge. He's exactly what we expected on a follow-up for a 62 home run season. But I got to tell you, we've talked about who the non-Judge MVP could be for the New York Yankees. Mm-hmm. I'm starting to believe it needs to be Giancarlo Stanton. And here's why. Obviously, he smashes the ball out of the ballpark. He's got the crazy swing, and somehow he makes contact, and it goes over the fence. But if he can play not every day, because that's asking too much for a guy who never plays every day, but if he can play 100 games in right field, 120 games in right field, it gives them so much more versatility, and it keeps him more engaged. His OPS is over 1,000 right now. It keeps him more engaged and gives this Yankee team much more than we rely on Aaron Judge for our run production. We rely on Aaron Judge to be the catalyst for our offense. It gives them another bomber, the old bomber mentality that the Yankees used to. It brings that back, and I think if Giancarlo Stanton is as engaged as a fielder and as a hitter as he was over the weekend, how he DH'd yesterday, but if he's engaged like that, this Yankee team has a real shot, even despite some of the question marks in their starting rotation, as we saw with Clark Schmidt, and in their bullpen, as we saw with Michael King and Clay Holmes on Saturday's loss. So, to me, Judge is going to be Judge. Let's not worry about Judge. Giancarlo Stanton needs to be that other MVP for this Yankee team. And right after the early returns of the Giants series this weekend, he's on pace to do that. He talked about it this whole offseason, right? We all talked about it. What's Giancarlo Stanton's role? What's Stanton's role? Don't just sit him on the bench and get up the bat 3 or 4 times in the afternoon. Let him be a baseball player. And if he can be that, this Yankee team can get anywhere.
God.
Why are you hating on Stanton?
I'm not. I like Stanton, but I'm not taking the bait. I'm not taking the bait. If the Yankees season hinges as much as you think it might in terms of upside with Stanton, then they're not doing anything. He's 33, Teak, and
that's not old.
Going to. But he looks. I mean, well, he actually looks like he's 23. His body, but his body plays like he's 53. And it's fool's gold, and I'm not taking it. He's been around a long time, and after a while, you are what you are. And Giancarlo Stanton's going to put a ball into orbit like he did yesterday, which went 485 feet.
That's ridiculous.
It's crazy. And as you said, defy physics, that swing, which looks like he's cutting down a tree with an axe, rather than like a fluid, explosive baseball. I mean, it's explosive, but it's like choppy. It's just there's no real rhythm to it.
No,
it's violence.
I don't know how he makes contact with the baseball.
I don't really know. He's got great bat speed, but there's just Stanton. We're just too deep into his career. We're too deep into his Yankee tenure.
Yeah, but is it?
I can't hang the hopes on. I'm not saying that he won't help them be really good if he's good and he's healthy. He's never going to be healthy.
Never, ever, ever too late to teach an old dog new tricks, right?
Well, mentally perhaps, but physically is one thing. Like you can go to therapy and learn how to maybe act a little differently or alleviate fears or change your personality. I don't know. Hey, listen, let me just put it this way. In 50 games, if he's running out there 2 out of every 3 days playing the outfield, he's straining something. He's pulling something, or worse, he's ripping something. He can't play the outfield every day. He can't play it 4 or 5 times a week.
Here's the bottom line of Stanton. And I think for the first time, it's felt like for the first time, he's trying to be more than just a DH. He wants to be more engaged and be a right fielder. I don't know if he trained differently, but they talked about it. Aaron Boone talked about it this in spring training, and he talked about it. And obviously, it's partly by necessity because of the Harrison Bader injury, and without him in there, and Hicks is not getting any time.
Good.
He's got one at bat, and that was as a pinch hitter on Saturday. Cabrera is going to be in left. Judge is likely going to be in center, and if Giancarlo Stanton can be a reliable fielder, which I think he pretty much is, as well as an engaged hitter like he has started this season to be, this team can really start to maybe achieve something that we didn't think that they could achieve.
Yeah,
but he's got to be engaged. And I think Judge is the MVP, obviously, because he's just amazing. But second to him, you got to have someone else who rides along with that hero, right? And I think Giancarlo Stanton is that guy.
See, I think it's going to be Rizzo more so. I think Rizzo, and maybe benefiting from the shift rules. He's not a 230 guy. He's also not a 280 guy anymore. But I think Rizzo plays a lot better this year. See, the words that you're using, I find interesting pertaining to Stanton. I really do. Like, if he's, and here's where I want to defend Stanton.
You hear me qualify?
You have to with him.
I
get what you're saying, and trust me, I wish that you were right. Listen, could he ever deliver an outlier season? Sure, I'll leave anything open as a possibility. But the words, I want to get back to an engaged hitter, a reliable fielder. I actually think that those things will be there, that will be present. He will be a reliable fielder because we've seen him, even in the play against the Astros, made a really nice play.
Playing left
field out in Houston, made a really nice play. He's got a good arm. He's not a butcher out there. He's not horrendous. And he will be an engaged hitter. It's not a lack of want. It's not a lack of effort. It's not a lack of adaptability. It's not a lack of, in his own mind, adapting to what his manager and organization needs him to try to be. He wants to do all that. He is physically incapable of being that guy.
But you don't know that.
I do, because I've watched him now for 12 years.
History tells you that he's going to get hurt. But history also told us that Aaron Judge, by the way, he's only 2 years younger than Giancarlo Stanton. Aaron Judge was going to consistently be hurt. Now, he's played a lot less than Stanton because he went to college, but still.
Yeah, but hold on. You can't flip the way. That's convenient. Hold on a sec, partner. I see what you're doing. Because when we were talking, hold on. When we were talking about Judge's contract before he ultimately signed it, and you were right in doing this,
yes,
you pointed out some of the circumstances behind his injury. Diving for a ball, a rib.
I'm talking perception.
Well, but now you can't talk perception. You got to talk reality now.
Well, the reality
is,
and
Giancarlo Stanton pulls something running the bases. Judge doesn't.
Yeah, but he doesn't need to run the bases. He's not going to steal 30 bases this year, right? That's not what you're worried about with Giancarlo Stanton. You're worried about him being a reliable fielder, which he is. You agree with that. You worry about him
functional out there.
Being an engaged hitter.
Not worried about that. He's a pro.
Which he can be, but there are moments where he gets lost. And he even talked about this spring training. This is why it's top of mind to me, where he's sitting in the dugout. He's gone and hanging out in the clubhouse. He's just waiting for his time to come around at the at-bat because he's DHing, and he's not engaged. And baseball has, if you're not, I'm just trying to think back to like when you were in college or even high school. Like you're everything. You're the hero when you play every day and you do everything.
You're getting a routine.
No question. And Giancarlo Stanton hasn't had the ability to really do that. Part of it's because he's been injured, but also
that's all of it. You don't think they wanted to play the outfield?
But part of it is because he's always tasked with just being the DH.
Because he can't handle running in the outfield.
Well, maybe he can't handle running in the outfield because he sits around so damn much.
Come on.
I don't know if it's causation. I don't know what's
his body is built in a way, unfortunately, he looks like Zeus, and it's put together with Scotch tape.
Yeah, but
that's the problem.
But don't you have... My point is, this season, there was a concerted effort, even if it was rhetorical, by Aaron Boone and Giancarlo Stanton to talk about him being utilized as an outfielder to be able to contribute in ways other than with his bat, which he's already started to do in 3 games. And we knew he would because he always does. But it's the other things that gets him more engaged as a baseball player. And I think if he can do that, not only does it help the Yankees weather this current injury and question marks in the outfield, because there are real question marks. Oswaldo Cabrera, he's going to play left, right? He's going to play it more than Hicks, because Hicks isn't getting any time right now, as you surmised and you were right about. But with Harrison Bader out, there's just a lot of movement. DJ's got not DJ. Well, he's got a slow start, but Rizzo's got a bad back. There are times when they're going to need to utilize the DH, and the only way they can do that is if Giancarlo Stanton is playing meaningful games in the outfield, and he started to do that. And he's hit 2 home runs, and one was a monster. I mean, it felt like the thing was going 500 feet, right? Giancarlo Stanton can be the second most important non-pitcher on this Yankees team, and I think he needs to be for this team to really get to where they want to go.
All right, so you heard Teak there. I don't see it that way. It's an interesting take on a Monday. I mean, it's a couple of games in here, and Stanton obviously has a very interesting resume. It's top-heavy. It's confounding in certain areas, but I hear you. I don't agree, but I hear you. 877-337-6666. It's the Tiki and Tierney show on the Fan inside of our Town Fair Tire studio. Friends at Town Fair remind you that you always get the guaranteed lowest price on name brand tires from Connecticut to Maine. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody. Now, the thing about Judge, and you said this before as you were setting up your Stanton take, you said, Judge is going to be Judge. Well, yes, for sure. But what I take away and what I said coming into the season is that Judge is not going to hit 42 or 40. Aaron Judge is going to hit 55 home runs if he's healthy. Mm-hmm. I mean, Aaron Judge is superb.
You mean without even trying, basically?
Basically, That's just who he is. And he's like the basketball version of Wilt Chamberlain. He's just going to stumble upon these freaky stats. Now, I'll tell you this, from a macro point of view, just a broad snapshot of the Yankees, I look at somebody like Donaldson, who had a home run over the weekend, hitting those, almost hitting the clouds there, pulling it to left field, keeping it in. I know, he also had a hit on opening day. I thought Donaldson was a guy who would bounce back this year, give the Yankees 22, 23 bombs. Volpe with the dynamic element in the middle of the diamond with 3 steals in 3 games. Every game. 3 games, 3 steals. Then he's going to start hitting. He's going to start getting he's going to start squaring some balls up. He's just I think he's getting his feet wet. Torres is a guy that we talked a lot about. The bullpen. There's a lot of debate when he gets back. Is he the guy that kind of exploded in October? Is that, he's not going to, I'm not saying he's going to hit 60 home runs, but is he now a little bit of a different profile with the great defense? I don't know. Maybe something clicked at the age of 27, 28. I just can't sit here and look at the Yankees and feel good about it and say Giancarlo Stanton at the age of 33 is going to dictate whether or not the Yankees get to or win a World Series. If that's the case, they ain't getting to and they ain't winning a World Series.
You're hating.
No, I'm realistic.
I think there are real.
I like the guy too.
I think there are real issues with this Yankee team. We talked about it on opening day when we were out at the Hard Rock. My biggest concern is the starting rotation because of the injuries, and now after Saturday, because Sunday and Friday it didn't even matter. Right, they were shutouts.
2 shutouts. I mean, we're going to complain about 2 shutouts?
Exactly.
Now, the bullpen was leaky. The bullpen was leaky.
The bullpen is now secondary concern. You mitigate that by putting up a ton of crooked numbers and putting them up early. And if Giancarlo Stanton is that second catalyst behind Aaron Judge, this team can do a lot. Mm-hmm. And I think the only way he is that player is if he plays not every day, but he plays more than, what do you have? 2 years ago, it was 108 games at DH. 108 games as a DH.
For a reason, by the way.
Yeah, true.
That was 2 years ago.
Yeah, true. 65 last year. If he plays 100 games as an outfielder and he's healthy, Giancarlo Stanton, he's going to be the man.
Wow. Okay. Let's get Mario in Eastchester first up on the Fan. Mario, how you doing today, buddy? What's up?
How you doing, Tiki and Tierney? Nice to talk to you guys.
You too, pal.
Listen, I always agree with you, Brandon, when it comes to the Yankees.
Okay.
This time I have to disagree, and I'm going with Tiki.
Go for it. What's up?
Let Stanton play the field. He's going to get hurt, fine. But let him get hurt out there being an athlete that he can be.
Yes.
Let him go out there,
agree.
Be engaged, hit the home runs, and be part of this team. Not just sitting on the bench thinking about what pitch is coming.
Well, now, Mario,
what am I going to do with this about?
Yeah. No, I got you, pal. Listen, you said that you disagree with me. I don't disagree with the premise that he should be run out there more often to play the outfield. What I'm saying is don't bank on it holding up. I agree with you that he should. He's just not built for it.
But don't you think you stay healthier when you're more into it? You know what I mean? It's like I'm trying to think of the example in other sports. It's really hard to appreciate your call, Mario.
Thanks, man.
I'm trying to think. There is an example in other sports because it doesn't work that way.
Well, how about throwing? The more that you throw, it works one of two ways. You either run yourself into the ground or you build up such a...
Yeah, but there's a fine balance, right?
Yes.
There's a fine balance. And I think this is the most important job that Aaron Boone is going to have this year. Because when Stanton's healthy, this Yankee lineup feels so much more dangerous than when Stanton is not. And we're talking about, if Aaron Judge doesn't hit a home run, if Aaron Judge doesn't get hits, if Aaron Judge and Aaron Judge and Aaron Judge. But if it's Stanton for the majority of the season, and that balance of playing in the field, staying healthy, being the masher that he is met, then this Yankee team can truly achieve something as opposed to feeling anemic at times. And that was the problem that plagued them in the postseason, as we all remember, hauntingly remember how bad they were. Nobody could hit. But if you got two of those guys, Stanton and Judge, and you're right with Rizzo as well, his OPS is over 1,000 right now as well, hitting 360 or whatever it is. If they can have that balance and not just this one icon sitting on top of the perch, Aaron Judge, and Stanton can be that guy, this Yankee team feels so much more dangerous and so much more able to mask some of these real deficiencies they're going to crop up in their starting rotation and definitely in their bullpen. I mean, you said this, and it's worth bringing to air. Marinaccio, he might end up being a closer because he looks most consistent out of all the guys that are coming out of the bullpen.
Boone loves him.
Short. I mean, it's a short sample right now, but we saw it a lot last year as well. And I have concerns about the bullpen.
I guess my issue, and when you frame it that way about trying to almost out-hit your way to mask up some of the pitching deficiencies, I would embrace that. But you know what it is, Teak? I've become desensitized to these conversations about Yankee power because I've talked about this now for years. Yeah. And they're always top 3, top 4, if not better. Already they're tied for first. And listen, the Yankees are tied for first with 7 home runs. And unlike a lot of teams, they've only played 3 games, like the Mets have played 4. So the Yankees profile, and by the way, same with the Mets. The Mets are tied for 14th, which is where they were basically a year ago. And the Yankees are tied for first with the 7. The Mets have 3 in the 4 games. But that doesn't excite me anymore because you know why? When you start seeing elite starting pitching and you start seeing lockdown bullpens, not just a closer, set up men, those bombs suddenly dissipate. And now it's, are you hitting the ball the other way? Are you putting the ball in play? And that's where guys like DJ and Volpe and Torres and the other guys it's nice for the 3-run home run April through September. That doesn't really win you anything. Don't we have enough evidence of that?
Yeah,
it's been a decade of evidence.
We do, but I just feel like getting the train started and pushing down the track the right way early, especially with Stanton being not just the DH, I think that's the way for the Yankees to get this thing moving with the right kind of momentum that's sustainable, right? Just throwing him out as DH every day, I don't love that, man. And I think, honestly, it empowers Giancarlo Stanton if he's playing every day and has a role other than just, all right, get the bat, let's see you hit one, right? It's just different. Because he doesn't contribute any other way.
Well, let me get, here's, I'm going to help you out with something.
Right? He's not going first and third. He's not doing those things.
No. Now, you asked before, do you get hurt because you don't play or you get hurt because you play too much?
Yeah.
The one thing that I would say is when you're DHing, forget about hitting, which is hard, your legs are tight. Okay, how many times you run down the tunnel? Yeah. Okay, how many times you stretch? Yeah. And whatever else whatever apparatus
they got a stationary back,
back. Get the blood pumping. There's nothing like, jogging out to left field. Jogging back, backing up throws. I get it. The blood's pumping. He's just an injury waiting to happen. I would love to say that, boy, this is, Tiki's going to be right on this. And not even about being right or wrong. I don't mean it but it's just, it doesn't move me.
Here's the real hard part for you. You want me to be right. You just can't believe it.
Listen, you know what I mean? Because if you're right, it would be good for the Yankees.
That's what I mean.
Absolutely.
You want me to be right.
But do you believe?
I do.
That you will be right?
I do. You
think he's going to play 150 games this year and have 612 at-bats?
Maybe
Where's
not.
the evidence?
I don't think he needs to play 150 games, but he needs to play 130, and he needs playing right field 90 to 95 of those.
So now we're getting Judge out of right. We're going to put him in left, and Bader comes back, and Judge is now the left fielder.
Put Stanton
Spacious left field. We got to worry about Judge's legs going now.
Put Stanton in left field then.
And then people will say, can he handle the spacious, the alley in left center?
We'll see.
Well, I don't think he can.
That's
the point.
He's an elite athlete.
Stanton?
He's an elite
Stanton?
athlete. Yes.
No, he's not.
Physically.